Good evening, folks. It's your bro, Rich here. Today's video is now part 3 on the Lamborghini Countach. Today I'm now going to be doing the special versions of this car. Starting off with the first one, which is the Walter Wolf Countach. And before I start, I just want to say, apologies if I haven't done a video, today in the morning. That's because I was out of town, actually, just hanging out and whatnot, and, so I apologize if I didn't do a video earlier today. I apologize briefly, but at least I'm back, so, it's late in the evening, like 11:47 p.m. it is, but, I just figured, why not? So, today I'm still continuing on with the Countach, and today I am now doing the special versions of this car. So today I'm now in the first one, which is the Walter Wolf Countach. So this is going to be quite interesting. So before I start, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all, so you're literally when I make brand new uploads. All right. One more thing before I start. Sorry, I managed to hit 500 subscribers. So thank you all so much for this. I really appreciate it. If I mention this again, I think I have. I'm not too sure if I have. I apologize. But I just figured, I just want you guys to know. So, and now next stage is 600. So that is going to be great. But let's see, hopefully we can try to do it, before next year, or, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I'll see what happens of how it'll be done. Okay, so without any further ado, let's begin. So now on the special versions of the Countach. So starting off with the first one out of, how many there are? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of these 6 special versions of this car, we're starting off with the first one, which is from the special versions, the Walter Wolf edition of the Countach. So without any further ado, let's begin. So the special versions, Walter Wolf Countach. So Walter Wolf Countach. So Walter Wolf Countach. Here we go. So, in 1975, Walter Wolf, a wealthy Canadian businessman and owner of the Wolf F1 racing team in the 1970s, born October 5th, 1939, who's also a Slovenian-Canadian businessman who owned a F1 team that won 3 races and is the namesake of cigarette, perfume, and clothing brands from Maribor in the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, which is a country in both Southeast and Central Europe that existed from 1918 until 1941. It was around a couple years before the Second World War ended. From 1918 to 1929, it was officially called the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovens, but the term Yugoslavia, land of the South Slavs, was its colloquial name due to its origins. The official name of the state was changed to Kingdom of Yugoslavia by King Alexander I on October 3rd, 1929. So in 1975, Walter Wolf oh god, so Walter Wolf, a wealthy Canadian excuse me, so a wealthy Canadian businessman, and owner of the Wolf F1 racing team in the 70s, so 1970s, purchased an LP400. However, he wasn't satisfied with the LP400's engine and asked Gianpaolo Dell'Otta to create a special high power version of the Countach. Dell'Otta was the former chief engineer. So Dell'Otta was the Dell'Otta was the former chief engineer at Lambo and had found his own company. Dell'Otta Automobili, in 1972. So in 1972, Dell'Otta modified chassis 1120148 or 1120148. So it's basically chassis number 1120, so 1120148. So I'll say again just to make sure, 1120148. So 1120148 to create the Walter Wolf special with an engine identical to the 5-liter, engine, so 5-liter V12, naturally aspirated. From the original 1971, so 1971 LP 500 prototype, which generated at 7,900 RPM, 447 or round up like 450 horsepower. Pretty good, the same amount of power as a 911 GT2 RS 4.0 by Porsche. In 2010. The only difference is the Porsche is a lot lighter than the Lambo, and it handles a lot better than the Lambo as well. And it's better to live with on a day-to-day basis than the Lambo as well. So it was generated at 7,900 RPM, 450 horsepower. 450 horsepower. So 450 horsepower, and then and enabled the car to attain a theoretical maximum speed of either 315 to 324 kilometers an hour, which is around 196. It's like 196 or 201 miles an hour, roughly, somewhere around there. This model also featured upgraded wheels. This model also featured upgraded wheels, Pirelli P7 tires, flared arches, and front and rear wings. All features that would be integrated on future Countaches, starting with the LP400S. So LP400S. Wolf's car was painted red with black flared arches. Was it so? Wolf's car was painted red and black. So red with black flared arches. Say black flared arches. Was designated LP500S. Say LP500S. Like the standard Countach, like the standard Countach model from the 80s, and was the key stepping stone. So key stepping stone that led to that led to that led to the development that led to the development of these later production models. Two subsequent Wolf specials were produced. The first painted Bugatti blue. That's pretty cool. So the blue from Bugatti. That's cool. Number 112022, which is basically 1120202. Say 1120202. Kind of weird. Was kept by the factory. I say weird because it's kind of like a rhythm to it almost. Was kept by the factory. So repetition it was. So was kept by the factory, and the last, a darker navy blue, number 11212110. So 2121 is kind of got a rhythm, like a repetition almost. So in order 11212110 was the very first LB400S, and presented at the 1978 Geneva Motor Show. So Geneva Motor Show. Both of the later Wolf cars used the original 5-liter V12 commissioned by Wolf, transplanted to each car in turn. So in turn. Next up we got, this one's kind of an interesting one. It's quite cool. The Countach Turbo S. Which this is in a league of its own. I'll explain. So Countach Turbo S. So Countach Turbo S. During the early 80s, so early 1980s, early 1980s, two modified turbocharged Countaches were commissioned by Max Bobnar. So Max Bobnar. It's like saying the word Bob, but adding N-A and R at the end. So spelled B-O-B-N-A-R. His last name. The official Lambo distributor in Switzerland. He hired master technician Franz Albert, to convert the cars to a twin-turbo configuration and to make other performance mods unique to the two prototypes. This was accomplished between the years 1980 and 1982. One was based on an LP500S and was painted black, while the other was based on a Series 1 LP400S and painted metallic red. The LP500 Turbo, so one was based on an LP500S, and was painted black, while the other was based on a Series 1 LP400S, LP400S and painted, while the other was based on a Series 1 LP400S and painted metallic red. The LP500S, LP500S Turbo was presented to the public at the 1984 Geneva Motor Show. So 1984 Geneva Motor Show, which in Latin is Geneva Autostrade. I think it was. I can't. I think it is. Hold on. Geneva's Autostrade. I think. I gotta find out. Yeah, Geneva's Autostrade.
Ženevas autostrade.
Geneva's Autostrade. There we go. That's the one. So the LP500S. So LP500S Turbo was presented to the public at the 1984 Geneva's Autostrade. So 1984 Geneva Motor Show. So that Geneva Motor Show. I wonder what it is in Lithuanian. Ženevos automobilių paroda?
Ženevos automobilių paroda.
Ženevos automobilių paroda. Something like that. You probably heard. You already heard this one. Yep. Lithuanian for me is super tough. Like Latin for me is much easier, you know? So the LP500S Turbo was presented to the public at the 1984 Geneva Motor Show. This next part is literally crazy. It's in a league of its own. The LP500S Twin Turbo weighed 1,515 kilos, which is like 3,340 pounds. Not bad. While its 4.8-liter twin-turbo V12 had a claimed maximum power output of 748 horsepower, round-ups like 750 horsepower, and a monstrous 876, round-ups like 880 newton meters, 646, or round-up is like 650 pound-feet of torque, enabling the car to accelerate from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, and attain a top speed of 208 miles an hour. A manual boost controller, so boost controller, which you can control the boost yourself. So a manual boost controller, located beneath the steering wheel. So beneath the steering wheel could be used to adjust the boost pressure. So it could be used to adjust the boost pressure from 10.1 So 10.1 between 10.1 to 20 to 21.7, so like 10 to like 22 psi of boost, which is around 0.7 to 1.5 bar boost. So 0.7 to 1.5 bar boost, at which the engine generated its maximum power output. The Turbo S, not to be confused with the 911 Turbo S by Porsche, that's got nothing to do with it. So the Turbo S has 15-inch wheels with 255 45 so with 255 45 tires at the front and 345 35 on the rear. again, 255, so 255, 45 tires on the front, and 345, 35 on the rear. So on the rear. Okay, so next up we got is the Countach QVX. Alright, next up we got is the Countach QVX. The Countach QVX. So the Countach QVX. So QVX. So the Countach QVX. So QVX. So QVX was a short-lived Group C sports. So Group C sports race car. So sports race car. Built in 1985. It wasn't either built or designed by the Lambo factory, but instead used a Spice Engineering, which is a British racing team founded by driver Gordon Spice. Born April 18th, 1940, passed away September. Oh, not April 14th. Sorry, born April 18th. Sorry, 1940. Passed away September 10th. So September 10th, 2021. Which I didn't even know about this. An age of 81 from cancer. It was cause of death was cancer. Well, I was at school at that time. Way before I did YouTube, actually. I didn't know about that. So for those of you who Gordon Spice is, he was a British racing driver who competed in both sports car and touring car racing in both the 60s and 70s before starting Spice Engineering with fellow racing driver Ray Belm in the 80s. Born May 20th, 1950, who is a racing driver in the UK. So back to the Countach QVX. So it was a short-lived Group C sports race car built in 1985. It wasn't either built or designed by the Lambo factory, but instead used a Spice Engineering and CC Engineering built chassis. So chassis and an engine derived from the Countach's V12, having a displacement of 5.7 liters. So 5.7 liters. With that same engine displacement or capacity, you mostly get that in American V8s, really. Mainly Corvette V8s and whatnot. Some Dodges and Buicks would pretty much have those kind of configurations. Possibly Fords. Pontiacs, presumably? I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, so it wasn't either built or designed by the Lambo factory, but instead used a Spice Engineering and CC Engineering built chassis and engine derived from the Countach's V12. The Countach's V12, having a displacement of 5.7 liters. This engine was reported to generate a maximum power output between 650 to 700 horsepower, depending on both track conditions, and utilized a Hewland VGC racing gearbox. So gearbox. This engine was built under the direction of Luigi Luigi Marmilo Marmilo Marmiroli. So Marmiroli. So Luigi Marmiroli. So Marmiroli. I can't pronounce it. So his last name Marmiroli. Marmiroli. Trying to do an Italian accent, but I can't do well. It's spelled M-A-R. So M-A-R. So M-A-R. M-I-R-O-L-I. So M-A-R-M-I-R-O-L-I. And used data derived. So data derived from Lambo's marine engines. So Lambo's marine engines. Lambo Lambo's British Lambo's British importer and British importer David Joliffe. I can't pronounce his last name correct. I can pronounce his last name correctly. It's spelled JolliFfe. Commissioned the car. The car was entered in. The car was entered in the 1985. So 1985 season. It was a 1985 season of Le Mans, but didn't have any success despite keeping up with the winning Jaguar. Supposedly, I think it was the XJ220 with a turbocharged V6. I mean, 3.5 liters, 542 horsepower, the same power as the 2012 GTR 35. The car was entered in the the car was entered in the 1985 season of Le Mans, but didn't have any success despite keeping up with the winning Jaguar. It entered again in the 1986 season, so a year later, by its sponsor Uni so by Uniparts, which is its sponsor. So by its sponsor Unipart, but the funding soon ran out. So ran out, and the car was pulled out of competition. Next up, we got is the F1 safety car. Between 1980 and 1983, during the early 80s, F1 employed the Countach as its safety car during the Monaco Grand Prix. Next up is the Countach Evoluzione. The Countach Evoluzione Evoluzione was a one-off prototype, so both a one-off prototype and testbed car built by Lambo in 1987. It's developed by Lambo's engineering team in order to test multiple technologies for the Countach's successor, which I believe was the Diablo. I think, yeah, I think it was the Diablo. So Countach's successor. The Evoluzione used a substantially different chassis and body than the production Countach, and lacked interior trim, soundproofing, and air conditioning to save weight. So lacked interior trim, soundproofing, and aircon or air conditioning. So air conditioning to save weight, which is good. It's continually modified for testing purposes. So testing purposes. So it's basically like a kind of a test car. So testing purposes, and all body panels were left unpainted. So in other words, the body panels were not even painted. Although there wasn't a production version of the Evoluzione, the Countach Anniversary Edition and so both the Countach Anniversary Edition and Diablo would incorporate some of its engineering, including both carbon fiber and Kevlar composite body panels. or I would call it carbon Kevlar, which is pretty cool. Imagine mixing both those compounds together. So including carbon fiber and Kevlar composites, was carbon fiber Kevlar composite body panels. The Evoluzione was built on an all-new chassis but used so the Evoluzione was built on an all-new chassis but used engine suspension and wheels from the LP500 QV Countach. So LP5 oh not 500 sorry LP5000 QV. Did I say 500? If I did, I apologize. So LP5000 QV Countach, or just Countach LP5000 QV production model. Although so Countach LP5000 QV production model. Although all these components would be modified, modified during testing, while based on a production engine, it's a production engine. So while based on a production engine, the Evoluzione engine. So the Evoluzione engine was blueprinted for greater performance and generated approximately 493 horsepower, roughly around 500 horsepower, which is pretty good. The gearbox was modified with a short throw shifter, but was otherwise the same as the production version. So, but was otherwise the same as the production version. So, same as the production version. The Evoluzione accelerated from 0 to 60 in approximately 4 seconds flat, so 4 seconds dead on. And so 0 to 60, 4 seconds, and so the Evoluzione accelerated from 0 to 60 in approximately 4 seconds flat dead on, and had a reported top speed around approximately 320 kilometers an hour. So 320 kilometers an hour, which is 200 miles an hour, approximately dead on. The most radical change from the production Countach was both a new chassis and body incorporating many composite composite materials, including Kevlar and CFRP, which is carbon fiber reinforced plastics, and aluminum honeycomb materials. Honeycomb panels. There we go. So honeycomb panels. The tubular steel space frame. So the tubular steel space frame chassis. So the tubular steel space frame chassis of the production Countach was completely replaced with a new composite unibody structure. The front truncalet, rear engine cover, front air dam, and wheel arches were made of carbon Kevlar composite, while both the wings and doors used more conventional but still lightweight aluminum panels. Aerodynamic wheel covers made made from composite materials were also tested, but were found to increase both heat buildup and brake fade. So heat increase and brake fade. So brake fade. These changes resulted in a radical weight reduction of approximately 397 kilos, which is 876 pounds. Random's like roughly between, I'd say roughly like 880 pounds, which is like 400 kilos approximately. Somewhere around there. So 400 kilos compared to the contemporary LP 5000 QB production model. It's a production model. The new body also the new body also also the new body also reduced the drag coefficient by approximately 10%. The 1988 Countach anniversary edition. So anniversary edition incorporated edition incorporated features of the Evoluzione body, including several composite panels and air intakes integrated into the lower door sills. Lambo engineers used Lambo engineers used the Evoluzione, or Evo as I call it, as a test bed or a test car. For many other technologies during its existence, these included a drivetrain which was four-wheel drive. So a four-wheel drivetrain, like most Lambos are all-wheel drive, electronically controlled ride height, active suspension, ABS or anti-lock braking system, and retractable low drag windshield wipers or windscreen wipers, whatever you call it. Although contemporary publications mention the possibility of a limited production run based on the Evoluzione. The car never entered production. So never entered production. The single Countach Evoluzione prototype was destroyed by the Lambo factory during crash testing and no longer exists. That's a shame, but that's how it was. The last one is the Countach L150. And then we'll go on to the next part, which was the production figures. Alright, so now we're in the Countach L150. So the Countach L150. So the L150 was a one-off prototype developed between the years 1984 to 1984 and 1987. So it's a 3-year difference between 1984 and 1987. Under the supervision of engineer Giulio Alfieri, born July 10th, 1924, died March 20th, 2002, who is an Italian automobile engineer affiliated with Maserati in Modena, Italy since 1953, where he's central to the development of both racing and production cars in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So back to the Countach L150. The Countach L the Countach L150. The Countach L150. L150 was a one-off prototype. So one-off prototype developed between 1984 and 1984 and 1987 under the supervision of engineer Giulio Alfieri. Giulio Alfieri. There we go. The L150 was intended to represent a new Countach-based production model. So Countach-based production model. It was developed in a fully functional prototype at the request of Lambo owner and CEO Patrick Mimran, born 1956. Don't know the day and month, but from Paris, France, or Paris in France. So it's developed in a fully functional prototype at the request of Lambo owner and Lambo owner and CEO, Patrick Mimran. He was presented with two approaches for future Lambo models in the mid 80s, so mid 1980s. He wished to continue developing the Countach while newly hired engineer Luigi Marmiroli. So Marmiroli, almost got that right for Italian accent. Almost got it right. So Luigi Marmiroli. Kind of nailed it, but a little bit. Kind of like need to work on my Italian accent almost, but oh well. So Luigi Marmiroli, that was brilliant. Began designing a new model. So new model, new model, which would become the Diablo. The L150 represented so the L150 represented Alfieri's Alfieri Alfieri Alfieri's approach, and included um, many body many body so many body panels intended to improve both engine to both improve engine cooling, so improve engine cooling and update the car styling. So update the car styling. Says styling. Efforts are also taken to improve the car's comfort, such as installing electric windows. So Mimran eventually rejected the L150 due to cost concerns. It's like pricing issues almost. Instead choosing a less ambitious update of the Countach with the 25th anniversary edition. So 25th anniversary edition. So anniversary edition. While also approving further development development of Marmiroli's Diablo concept. It's a concept. In 1987, so in 1987, so in 1987, in 1987, Mimran acquired the L1 acquired the L150 for his personal collection. 2 years later, in 1989, it was sold to Lambo collector Minoru Mura. So Minoru Mura. Minoru is spelled Minoru. Sounds like I'm saying mineral almost. Kind of from mineral water. I don't know. So in 1987, it sold to Lambo collector Minoru Mura. So his last name was taken from the very first Lambo supercar from the late 60s, the Mura, which I talked about a couple weeks ago. I can't remember, but somewhere around there. So in 1989, it sold to Lambo collector. So Lambo collector Minoru Mura. So Mura and still remains in his collection as of 2021. Say 2021 sounds like 3 years ago, almost 4, because we're getting quite close to the very end of 2024 and almost at the start of 2025. Well, not quite like the end yet, but we're getting very, very close to it. So in 1989, so 1989, so 1989, it sold to Lambo collector Minoru, so Minoru Mura, and still remains in his still remains in his collection. Still remains in his collection. So it remains in his collection as of 2021. Next up, production figures. A total of 1,983, so 1983 cars, so less than 2,000 cars were built during the Countach's 16-year lifetime. So a total of 1,009. So on production figures next. So production figures. A total of 1,983 cars were built during the Countach's 16-year lifetime. So literally we got so they built one LP500. So one LP500. So one LP500 prototype. So one LP500 prototype. 157 LP400s. 237 LP400Ss. 321 LP500 LP500Ss. 610 5,000 QBs and 657 657 25th anniversary editions. substantially more than half were built in the final 5 years. The last 5 years of production, as Lambo's new corporate owners increased production. A small number of new a small number of new Countaches. So a small number of new Count- a small number of new Countaches. A small number of new Countaches. So a small number of new Countaches um, were assembled in Cape Town. So Cape Town in South Africa. So Cape Town, South Africa. So Cape Town, South Africa. During the mid-70s, by both by local dealer and IMM. So by local dealer, so both local dealer and IMM. So by both local dealer and importer, so local dealer and importer, IMM. So IMM. So IMM, which stands for Intermotor Makers. IMM importer. So importer. Sorry. IMM imported Countaches and other Lambo models from the Lambo factory. Lambo factory as complete knockdown kits, which is a collection of parts required to assemble a product. The parts are typically manufactured in either one country or region and then exported to either another country or region for final assembly. CBU, on the other hand, stands for completely built up. So completely built up and signifies import of a finished product. Say finished product. So IMM imported Countaches and other. So IMM imported Countaches and other Lambo models from the Lambo factory as complete knockdown kits. So complete knockdown kits. This import arrangement was active. This import arrangement was active until the South African government revoked. So until the South African government revoked IMM's exemption to phase V or phase 5 or whatever of the local content program, which took effect in 1980, so start of the very early 1980s, and mandated that cars manufactured in South Africa incorporate a minimum of 66% locally, so 66% locally produced content. The total number of of inner so of intermotor makers assembled Countaches is unknown, but they constitute a very small fraction of Countach production. So Countach production. So production. 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 Next up we got is engine data. So we got the model, displacement, power, torque, compression ratio, and fuel and induction systems. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. So 7 versions of these. So starting off with the first one, is the LB500 prototype, which that has which was 4.9 liters, 440 horsepower. So 440 horsepower. RPM for power is unknown, but for torque, it's 5,750. So its RPM for torque configuration has 450 newton meters, 330 pound-feet at 5,750 RPMs. So 330 pound-feet, 448 newton meters, or 450. Compression ratio 10.5 to 1. Fuel and induction systems is carburetor. So that was 5 liters. Then we got the LP400 version. 4 liters, 370 horsepower, 361 newton meters, 361 newton meters, 266 pound-feet at 260 pound, 361 newton meters, 266 pound-feet. So 361 newton meters, 266 pound-feet at 5,000 RPM. Same compression ratio. So same compression ratio. Carburetor. Then we got the 400S. Same 4 liters, but 345 horsepower, 356 newton meters, 263 pound-feet, at same 5,000 RPM, same compression ratio, and also same carburetor as well. Then we got the LP500S. It's LP500S. 4.7 liters, 370 horsepower, 418 newton meters, 308 pound-feet at 4.5, so 4,500 RPM, 9.2 to 1 compression ratio, and is carburetor as well. So where to go? So next up we got is the LP500 Turbo S prototype. It's a Turbo S prototype, same 4.7 liters, but this time a monstrous 736 horsepower. Right, I was like 740 horsepower. As Veneno territory, a 2013 Veneno makes the same power. 740 horsepower. So 876 right up like 880. So 880 newton meters. So 646 will run up to like 650 pound-feet at 4,500 RPM. Compression ratio not available. It has twin turbos and carburetors. Next up we got is the 5000 QV 25th anniversary. 5.2 liters, 5.2 liters, 450 horsepower, 369 pound-feet, 500 newton meters, the same as the Mark V Supra, at 5,200 RPMs, 9.5 to 1, 6x2, 40, so 6x2 or 6x2, 44 DCNF, so DCNF, Weber carburetors. And last but certainly not the very least we got is the Evoluzione prototype. It's a prototype. 5.2 liters, 450 horsepower at 7,000, so 450 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. Torque not available, but presumably it's the same as the previous one. Same 9.5 to 1. But this time, for the fuel and induction systems, it has a Motronic Motronic fuel injection system. So for those who don't know what Motronic is, it's basically the trade name given to a range of digital engine control units, or ECUs, developed by Robert Bosch GmbH, commonly known as Bosch, which combined control of both fuel injection and ignition. So fuel injection and ignition in a single unit by controlling both major systems in a single unit. A single unit, many aspects of the engine's characteristics, such as power, fuel economy, drivability, and emissions, can be improved. So last one, evolutionary prototype, 5.2 liters, 7,000 RPM, 450 horsepower, torque not available, 9.5 to 1, and a Motronic fuel injection system. Okay, so that'll be it for tonight. So for my next Countach video, will be about both the performance and weight. Now, I wanted to do it, I want to like continue doing it, but I'm just tired right now. I want to take a break. I'll do it, I will do it tonight. I will do the next part tonight. So it's currently 12:48 on Sunday morning. That's crazy. Alright, so that'll be it. So if you guys like this video, like and subscribe. So like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think. So like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all. So hit the notification bell and hit all. So hit the notification bell and hit all so you're alerted when I make brand new uploads. Alright, I gotta go. I'll see you guys soon in the next video. But as well, stay safe, have a great evening, and have a great morning, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. So, take care folks, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.